Hey guys, Adam here. So this will be my last one until I move and I get settled in. So, yeah, I'll have one soon. I'll have another review soon. Hopefully, hopefully Labor Day maybe. Anyway, sorry, I'm really tired. I just sat through a 2-hour movie that should have been 90 minutes long. And then I had to walk all the way back here in the blistering heat. Expendables 3. This movie was really, really disappointing. I love the Expendables movies. I love the first two movies. They're really good, but this one, this was a big fucking disappointment. I don't have any rage towards it. I was just, because I was more exhausted than I was angry at this movie. Just because I had to sit there for 2 fucking hours, and I was the only young person in this theater. I was the only one under the age of 50 that was in this movie. That was in this theater. Everyone else was older than my dad. Who's 58. So the plot is Barney and the gang are back. They break Wesley Snipes, who's a former member of the original Expendables, and then they go to because they need him for a job to assassinate an arms dealer, who turns out to be one of the Barney's co-founder, one of Barney's other original team members, who's played by Mel Gibson, who is an arms dealer. Turns out Barney was supposed to kill him, supposedly killed him, but he ended up somehow surviving. They don't really elaborate on that very well at all. And so after getting their asses handed to them, Barney decides to disband the old team because they're old. They're old as shit, really. And he gets Kelsey Grammer to help him hire 4 much younger team members. One of them being Kellen Lutz, to help him stop Mel Gibson. Well, shit gets bad. Again, things turn to shit. So Barney, with the help of Antonio Banderas and his old team, go to rescue them, and then we get 30 minutes of a really long fucking climax. Oh my god. I have never been so fucking exhausted at a movie before. Like, honestly, I was never this exhausted at Transformers 4. This was fucking exhausting. This was bad. So yeah, this is a very, very big cast as well. Very large ensemble cast. A lot of the actors who get like their 4th, 5th, whatever billing have very, very small screen times, like to the point of cameos, which is very sad because they're all great actors. But no, we have to make way for our PG-13 money makers, which is Kellen Lutz, Victor Ortiz, I guess his name is Randy Ortiz, whatever. I don't know who the other fucker is, and Ronda Rousey, I think that's her name. The biggest problem with this damn movie is it's PG-13. Like, Stallone, and I knew that was going to really, really hurt this movie because it was PG-13, and here's why. When the first Expendables movie was announced, they said it was going to be an R rating for because they felt like Stallone felt like making an R rating and having it be an ensemble cast of very past their prime actors, action heroes, would give them a big comeback, and it did, because for once we got a really gritty, violent action movie again. Something I haven't seen since the late 90s, early 2000s. I really miss those kinds of movies. And then we get the Expendables, which I enjoyed the shit out of. Then we got Expendables 2, again, which was even better because it was fucking violent. And then we get this. PG-13 money, cash in. That's what it fucking feels like for this movie. Oh my, this is for a PG-13 crowd. This is not for the people that like the first two movies. This isn't. This isn't a dark and gritty movie at all. This is for younger... Stallone said the reason why they made this PG-13 is because they didn't have a big enough audience in the last movie. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck that. Alright? Because, for God's sakes, you made this franchise because you felt like action movies weren't up to par anymore. They didn't have that spark they used to. And now you make this. You make this. God. Great. Now I am angry at this movie. Because it's PG-13 and I'm pissed off about it. God damn it. There are positives. The camera work for the action scenes are good, even though they shoot it to make it PG-13. At least it's not fucking shaky cam. I'm glad about that. I am glad that's not a fucking shaky cam because it's PG-13. The new additions are good. I like some of the new additions, like Harrison Ford, of course. Wesley Snipes ain't bad. And Antonio Banderas is actually very, very fun in this movie. I enjoyed him. And Mel Gibson I had a fucking blast with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson hammed the shit out of this movie. He made this movie watchable. Him and Antonio Banderas made this movie fucking watchable. I'm not gonna say the rest of them were really bad in this, but god damn it, it didn't feel like they were putting any effort in it. Now, granted, they had a lot of great chemistry together because, well, they have charisma and they can fucking. Okay, I know I'm saying this about the likes of Schwarzenegger, Statham, and Stallone and Lundgren, but they can fucking act a fucking lot better than the four young little broskies we got in this fucking movie. Randy Ortiz plays, I don't know who the... Actually, you know what? They don't even explain who the fuck each member is. Like, except for the one dude who's supposed to be... His skill is hacking. I guess Kellen Lutz's skill is he's good with a bike. But they never really explained that at all. Randy Ortiz, he's a boxer, he knows weapons, blah blah. And then you got Ronda Rousey, who she can kick your ass. I'll give her that. But when you decide to make me think that Kellen Lutz is a better actor than you, congratulations, you just made it on my worst actors list because Ronda Rousey is one of the worst actresses I've ever seen in a movie. Oh my god, she's terrible. She's terrible. And this girl went on a rant saying that she should have been Wonder Woman. Honestly, I think I would have picked Gal Gadot over you any day of the week. Sorry. First off, she's trying to be that feminist that has a father-daughter relationship with Stallone because she's such a terrible actress. She has no chemistry with him at all. And she always has this pouty face, like she's trying to do her best badass mean look, and it fails. It does. God, I hope she never becomes I hope to God she never gets cast in that Expendables movie. Oh God, that would actually kind of piss me off. God. I didn't care about these newer the younger characters. I didn't. They were there to be introduced, and then they get kidnapped in order for the old team to be brought in, and that's it. That's all they were there for. I mean, they all survived. Terry Crews is in it for 10 minutes, and then he gets shot. He survives because he's Terry Crews. He probably used his pecs to like. No, actually, no. Why didn't he use those pecs to like bounce the bullets off of him? I'm pretty sure he could do that with the magical powers he has. So yeah, they waste Terry Crews' time because Terry Crews is an enjoyable actor, and I would complain about him about them casting athletes in this movie, but then again, Terry Crews was a football player. But here's the difference, though. Unlike Ronda Rousey and Randy Orton, he also had charisma and charm to him. He could go on screen and be able to steal the show because one, he can act, two, he's a badass, and three, he's very, very funny. These guys are not. They are none of these things. All they are athletes. The only reason why they picked them is because they look good kicking ass, and they were there to draw in a younger crowd. If it just continued to be the much older, over 50-year-old actors, no young person would have seen this. That's the biggest problem with this movie. I mean, of course, it's not not the movie's fault. Well, okay, it kind of is, but it's also kind of the mindset of the audience. Because I was the only young person in that theater. The rest of them, again, like I said, was older than my dad. Way older than my dad. And like I said, my dad's 58. Okay? That tells you something what's kind of wrong with today's generation. This is a PG-13 movie. You could have taken your kid to see this. It's really not that violent anyway. Jesus. Oh, God, this movie. Like I said, Mel Gibson is the highlight of this movie. He's insane. He's as if he went completely insane at the end of Lethal Weapon 4, shot and killed Danny Glover, and then became a arms dealer. That is what he's like in this movie. He's completely crazy in this movie, and I enjoy it. I enjoy him. Now, the whole backstory between him and Barney is confusing. Really, they don't even explain anything about it at all, to the point where you're just like, shit. I'm like, all you need to know is Mel Gibson went bad, and that's it. You don't get an explanation at all, or a little to no explanation. Jet Li, even though he gets a credit, he's only in it for 2 scenes. The scene where they reintroduce him, and the final battle. That's it. He doesn't get that many lines either. Schwarzenegger kind of was sleepwalking through this too. Although I did like the fact that he said, "Get to the chopper." Although it wasn't. And the reason why I like it is because it still wasn't as cringe-inducing as, "Who does he think he is, Rambo?" God, oh god, that was a bad line. Harrison Ford wasn't bad. He wasn't. I want to say he was sleepwalking through this. He wasn't great, but he wasn't sleepwalking through it. He got to do something. He got to fly a helicopter, which I had to say to myself. Like, there was a line that said, Arnold says, "Wow, you're really good at flying," and I was just like, "Oh please, you ain't seen nothing." He was able to make the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. Sing. Oh god, honestly, I would have loved that. I would have loved if he said that. That would have been hilarious. Oh god. Trying to think now. Antonio Banderas again was another thing that made this movie watchable. Was Antonio Banderas is funny. He's a kind of a burnt out ex-soldier from the Spanish Armed Forces who is trying to get back into like a special ops team so he can honestly kind of feel alive again. And he's just this guy who won't shut up. He's the talkative idiot that won't shut up. And he's really charming in this movie. He really is. Even though I know he's not doing any of the stunts that they show, you can still kind of believe it because it's Antonio Banderas. He is a lot of fun in this movie. Wesley Snipes. He's alright in this movie. I like Wesley Snipes, but they introduce him and then Barney fires him and they don't bring him back until the end. Same thing with the rest of them. So I felt like Wesley Snipes was just wasted in this movie. Oh god. I need to get to the biggest problem with this movie though. Which is the amount of CGI in this movie. Here's another thing I liked about the first two movies is how the CGI wasn't really needed very much. There wasn't that much CGI in the first two movies. The only times they ever used CGI was for the blood, which I didn't like, but that's the only time they ever used the CGI in that. Here, because it is PG-13, they have a bigger budget and they can go all out with this, which is fine. But you know what? I really, really, really found it distracting at how bad the CGI is. This is Asylum levels of bad CGI. This is honestly almost as bad, or even worse than the CGI in Sharknado. And I love those movies. Oh god, it was so distracting. The helicopter fights were unbearable to look at because they were so bad. And there was a part where they blew up where in the beginning, after saving Wesley Snipes, Stallone blows up a helicopter. They use CGI. They don't actually blow it up. They use CGI because why not? Oh my god. Kelsey Grammer was fun. He got a bit of extended role, although all he was doing was being the recruiter, and that's it. That's all he was there for. But the amount of time he's in it, he's very, very charming, and he had great lines with Stallone. There was a part where he tells Stallone that he's dying of cancer, from lung cancer and all that, and then he goes, "I'm just bullshitting you. I'm fine." Which Kelsey Grammer was a great actor, so I ended up believing him. This movie just wasn't very good, which is which again was really sad. Oh yeah, and here's the biggest disappointment: the final fight between Stallone and Gibson is really underwhelming. They end up going into a fist fight. Unfortunately, it's really short, and it doesn't feel as brutal as like the fist fight from the second movie, which was really brutal because it's Stallone and Van Damme ready to murder each other. And while they're trying to play it off like that in this movie, it's not as impactful because one, it's short, two, is PG-13, and three, is PG-13. It doesn't... Oh, God. The reason why I like these movies is because it was a return to form with how you do these movies. With action movies. There's a return to form with action movies, and this one just ended up being a cash-in. Just they were more concerned with the money than they were with actually getting any than they were actually making a good action film. I was gonna give this a 5 out of 10 because I really was hoping I could like it a little more, but the more I think about it, the more I realize it's not as good because I am a huge action movie fan. I love action movies. This was a huge disappointment and a big fat step backwards. No, I'm sorry. It's a big giant leap backwards. The young Expendables are just not fun. They're not enjoyable. I did not like them. I did not care for them. I wish Mel Gibson put a bullet in between each of their eyes. And the rest of the cast was just wasted. The only things I liked about it was Mel Gibson and Antonio Banderas, and that's about it. I give Expendables 3 a 3 out of 10. I really want to enjoy this movie, but I can't because the rating just really killed it for me. When you make a franchise that was intended to be R-rated and you put in an installment that's PG-13, you kind of defeat the purpose of what this franchise was meant to do. I'll be back with trailers in a little bit. I'm just gonna cool down for just a couple of minutes. Alrighty. Oop, wrong one. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh my God. Turns out, I did not save my list of trailers, so I can't talk about them. God, Jesus. Well, that sucks. Last movie until I move, and I have no trailers. Oh, man. I can't really remember a lot of them. I mean, I got Big Hero 6. I got a new Liam Neeson movie. I think that's about it. That's all I can remember. Well, until then, I'll see you guys when I can. I'll try and get Sin City soon, maybe. I don't know. But till then, see ya.